Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to First Reaction TV. My name is J Mart. Today we're going to watch the PBD podcast where they get into the January 6 tapes, release of them by Tucker Carlson, and pretty much the heated back and forth, fighting between Democrats and Republicans over the release of the tapes. So I have a feeling today is going to be pretty heated. I have a feeling they're going to be pretty animated during this video. So let's get into it. Let's check it out. And before we do, please take 1 second and just subscribe. It only takes 1 second to hit that button. So please subscribe and enjoy the video.
Tucker Carlson releases exclusive January 6 footage, says politicians, media lied about Sicknick, QAnon, shaman. Tucker Carlson released this, pushed by, he says, in January 6, 2021 rise that challenges various narratives, pushed by the Democratic-controlled House Select Committee and mainstream media. The footage shows Trump supporters peacefully touring the building, contradicting the news coverage of January 6 that likened the event to 9/11 and the attacks on Pearl Harbor. Capitol Police officers were seen escorting Jacob Chansley, the QAnon shaman, around the building without incident. Carlson reported that officers were seen showing Chansley around, even trying to open locked doors for him. The footage also challenges the narrative that the events of January 6 were a deadly insurrection. Officer Brian Sicknick was seen walking normally while guiding Trump supporters out of the building while wearing a helmet, which contradicts the media narrative that he died of a head injury. So this is the...
All right, I just wanted to stop it here real quick because the only thing that I really have to say about it, at least as of now, is that for anyone to compare this to Pearl Harbor and then 9/11, which most people, that's in their 30s and older all experienced and went through the terror of 9/11, to even compare it to that is so wrong and dishonest on so many levels that it's sickening. Like, it actually makes me sick to my stomach to think that I'm not even 100% sure who all did it, but I think even Kamala Harris was one, or Vice President, compared this to 9/11. I think anyone that does that or that has done that should either take a look at themselves or be highly ashamed of themselves for even comparing something like this to 9/11. It would have been like comparing any of the riots that happened during 2020 where one or two people died to 9/11. Like, this just doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. And unfortunately, like, people are using this again as a political narrative instead of just being honest about it. Like, yes, it was tragic. It was an awful day. They can learn from it. The people from 9/11 are still suffering right now. 2001, okay? It's been over 20 years. Those families, those people are still suffering today from what happened. And some of them are still getting sick. All the workers that that were there that got sick. All the people that suffered and that still are suffering right now as I'm making this video, and that will suffer in the future still. And they're comparing it to that. And anyone that doesn't stand up for that notion, saying, hey, like, this has nothing to do with what happened on 9/11, and to compare that is highly, highly misleading for the people that didn't go through it or that don't know what happened during that time. It's sickening. It's absolutely sickening.
This. Now, everyone's saying stuff about Tucker negatively.
Yeah, of
I mean,
course they
Twitter's
have to.
blowing up. I can't believe he said this. I can't believe he said that. Did you get the clip I sent you about what Kevin McCarthy said?
I don't have it.
Do you have it? If you don't have it, let me just send it to you so you have it. Oh, I texted it to myself. If you go to, let me send this to you. You have to see this. While we're pulling this up, Vinny, why don't you give us your thoughts, and then I'll go to Kevin McCarthy.
All right, so, and I want to ask everybody. I want to ask you, Pat, Rob, all the, everybody in chat. What was the reason for the January 6th situation? And mind you, I call it a situation because it wasn't an insurrection. Insurrection is a violent uprising against the government or authority. Let me explain something. For everybody that saw what's happening, especially with Tucker, it was none of that, all right? So, and when I asked why, Pat, why did the people go to the Capitol? It's a rhetorical question. Why'd they go? Because those people thought that the election was stolen from them. Sure. And my question is, Pat, is that such a far-fetched idea for them to think that the left would do something like that. All right. And you know what? The answer is no, Pat. They've lied, the left and the government. They lied about Russia. They lied about COVID. They lied about vaccines. They lied about Hunter Biden. They lied about the border. They lied about China. The audacity to be like, how dare you guys question us? It's like, bro, shut the hell up. And then you have Schumer, it's left and right, Schumer and Mitch McConnell, the alien, going, hey, Fox, don't you dare show this. And Pat, why not? Let us see the truth. And you know the people that died, Pat, it was the Ashley Babbitt was one of the ones that was murdered. She was a United States Air Force veteran, unarmed. She was shot and murdered by a Capitol Police. That's one. And that Brian Sicknick, who was wearing a helmet, they said was killed with blunt force trauma. He had a stroke. Okay, so it wasn't what they tried to say that it was.
So I want to stop it there because, look, I have no clue if that's true. I have not read that, saw that, heard that before. I know, at least what I heard, that the Democrats released a statement saying how he had blunt force head trauma and was killed by a fire extinguisher, or a hit to the head by a fire extinguisher. So I heard nothing about a stroke. So I have no clue if that's, fact, fiction. I truly have no idea.
These people were there because, you know what? They don't believe the government. And this is my thing. I'm actually not proud, but impressed. You know what? When you have a problem and you think the government is effing with you, that's what you go to the government. You don't burn down your city. You don't kill your own people. You don't burn down businesses in your town. Like, remember with the riots, people were burning down BLM, Antifa. They burned down their own city. If you have a problem with authority, go to the authority. And from what I saw, Tom, that shaman was walking around, smiling, taking selfies, talking to people. They had ropes escorting people into where. And what about
walking slowly, and they would touch him on the shoulder to say, no, this way, and they would open the door for him. He was waiting at doors, and they're like, hang on a second, I'll open this for you. And you're looking at it, it says, wait a minute. Because he was wearing that headdress and the fur, the media used that as, this is a psycho person, this is part of the insurrection. But the truth was, yeah, he was wearing a headdress with the fur, but he was walking around.
It looked like a guy.
Yeah, so, man, things are getting so weird right now because, look, I'm one of those people that, look, if someone showed me election fraud, if someone had actual proof, not like fake YouTube videos or people having conspiracy theories or this or that, if there was actual proof and it came out the election was stolen, I'd say, okay, go do your insurrection, let's go for it. But I'm just one of those people where, like, I have to have proof. Like, I have to. It doesn't mean, like, I'm closed-minded about it. Like, just because I didn't have proof, it didn't necessarily say, oh, there's no way this could have happened, because I definitely wasn't in that mindset either. And I think it's good that the tapes did come out to at least let the American people judge it for themselves instead of having another narrative like COVID, like Russia, like any other, the masks, the vaccine, like any other narrative that they tried to force down your throats. So I think it's great the tapes came out, because I heard that on the January 6 hearings, I heard that they edited the videos that the January 6 committee showed to the public, that they edited and put in sound on the security cameras to make it sound worse than it was, and to make it sound like it was like more violent. Like, that type of stuff is so dishonest. And so, like, I can't believe that an actual committee that was investigating this put in sound on security tapes to make people think that it was scarier than it was. Like, that is so sketchy. So, like, little things like that, I don't know a lot about the tapes. I don't know a lot about this whole situation. But just small stuff like that, it starts getting your, gears turning, going, well, like, what really did happen here? Because, like, even watching the news media, you think a lot of people died. They're comparing it to 9/11. They're comparing it to Pearl Harbor. You're thinking that it was absolute terror. And they show you, the people trying to break down the fences and get inside the building. And then you find out that the only person that died was an unarmed female that got shot by the police. And then some guy that possibly could have had a stroke. So, like, dude, I don't know.
Tour field trip, and Ray Epps, who Christy, one of our writers in here, wrote about it. Pat, she said insurrection or Fedsurrection or one of those things. Everybody thought the guy was an FBI agent, and in court they showed his text. You know what he told his nephew? He goes, "I orchestrated the protest at the Capitol." He goes, "I helped people get there." That's that guy that was wearing the Trump hat and was yelling at people to go. This is when we're gonna go and we're gonna attack the Capitol. And why isn't that guy in jail? If you give 4 years to the shaman guy that was on a tour of the Capitol, but Ray Epps, the guy that was inciting violence, and guess what? I don't trust them. So good for them. They should have, you know what? It shouldn't have happened on January 6th. When they found out these people with Russian collusion, it was all a hoax with Hillary and the government lied. That's when they were late. You guys should have gone there a year earlier, 2 years earlier, and gone and talked shit. So I'm not for violence, but I'm for, if you have a problem with the government, go talk to the fucking government. Don't burn down your own city. That's my point.
Tom, thoughts?
Dude, that guy's heated.
I'm just listening to this, and Vinny, I thank you for your passion. I mean,
thank you.
I was disappointed and shocked, and what came to my mind was they freaking lied to the public about this guy, and they railroaded him. Mm-hmm. This guy is doing 3 years.
Four actually.
And apparently he's got a couple psychomedical issues, and real issues. And so this guy got railroaded. All the footage that we see, now I understand why all the committee members didn't want Fox to put this up, because it immediately shows that Capitol Police and the prosecution took this guy and put him in jail because he looked funny and was walking around with a headdress, and it fit the narrative. I was incredibly disappointed when I saw this yesterday.
Look
Just
at
like,
him,
there he is.
Look, he's on a tour. Where's the insurrection?
And
Where's
watch him stop. He's going to come back.
Yeah, and like, dude, the guy was on a freaking field trip that was roped off and guided around. Like, yes, guess what? There were some hooligans. Every time you get hundreds of people together, look at this.
So look at
the
this.
cop
There's
behind him. Yeah.
2 cops in the hall.
Let him go in.
And they said that security detail in the orange vest.
Look at this.
Now he's going to walk through here.
Look, the cop behind him. Where's the violence? This guy, dude, you know how many people are in solitary confinement right now? You know how many people are not going to see the light of day?
So let me show this. Can you show me what Chuck Schumer's reaction was to this? It's very different than what Vinny said. I just texted it to you. If you can play Chuck Schumer's reaction. Here's Schumer's reaction.
Yeah.
These lies continue tonight. Rupert Murdoch, who has admitted they were lies and said he regretted it, has a special obligation to stop Tucker Carlson from going on tonight now that he's seen how he has perverted and slimed the truth.
Yeah.
And from letting him go on again and again and again. Not because their views deserve such opprobrium, but because our democracy depends on it.
Oh, there we go.
Lies.
Let me go. Let me guess.
Our democracy depends on Tucker not showing this.
Let me explain something to you. The threat
yeah,
to
maybe it does. Maybe there's going to be a real insurrection when the people see what's happening.
Tom, here's my question. What is wrong, Pat, with just let me see, I guess the 40,000 hours, they picked just those type of moments. What are you so scared of? What is the fear in letting me see like what's happening? It's like the Zapruder film. Well, they're like out of everybody, one guy recorded it. The government was like, no, they tried not to show it. Let me see it so I can make my own decision. I don't need Chuck Schumer. I don't need Mitch McConnell to tell me what I can and what I can't see.
Can you play Kevin McCarthy's video? Can you play Kevin McCarthy? What his reaction?
Because of the footage that you gave Tucker Carlson last night, he went on and said this was a mostly peaceful chaos. As he said, he downplayed Brian Sicknick's death, said it was not related to January 6th, said this was not an insurrection. Do you regret giving him this footage so he could whitewash the events of that day?
No, I said at the very beginning, transparency. And so what I wanted to produce for everybody is exactly what I said, that people could actually look at it and see what's going on.
Good for you. Good for you.
But Mr. Speaker, portrayal of what happened that day?
Look, each person can come up with their own conclusion.
Good.
But what I just wanted to make sure is I had transparency.
Do you believe
because I know in CNN, I had here where you guys actually broke where we were. This was a secret location, Fort McClellan.
Wow.
I don't know if you got concerned by that. I don't even know from point of view of security if we could ever be taken there again. But when you broke that
Wow.
at CNN, that was a real concern to a lot of people. I had a real concern also when I wanted to make sure transparency. Look, the officer's death is tragic, and anytime an officer is passed in this situation, I want to make sure they're protected. I want to make sure the transparency goes forward.
Speaker McCarthy, was this in any way part of the deal that you made to win the speakership? To specifically give the content to
No, the
Tucker?
answer is no. And if you follow, I'm not sure if you were there the times before, I got asked the question in a press what I would do in the process. I've watched on January 6th committee how it was only politically driven. Now on the January 6th committee, you couldn't, the minority side wasn't allowed to put people on. And I just thought it was fair if someone asked me the question, just transparency. So what I tried to do is be able to release the information, which we'll do to everybody.
It's good.
I worked.
That's like, I mean, Pat, you know what that is? You know why the left is so pissed off? It's like, how dare you change our narrative that we've been sitting on to try to get Trump not to run again? That's exactly what the hell you're seeing, and good for him. I don't give a damn about what deal he did. That's ballsy, and I love the fact that, Pat, he had an article right in front of your face, CNN giving our location because you guys wanted us to get hurt.
Yes, that was like one of the big things that came out with, well, if you lease the tapes, people are going to be at risk because people are going to know which door leads here and which door is this, and this area is secure and that area over there is supposed to be secure. So what Kevin McCarthy did there was saying like, hey, like, your network actually put us at risk because you revealed this secret location. It just seems like more like that Trump like derangement syndrome again, where they are so like frothing at the mouths, where they're just, McCarthy, did you do this because of this and because of that? Like they already had their minds made up before they asked him. Like we've been hearing about for I don't know how long now that Kevin McCarthy gave the tapes to Carlson because of this deal that he supposedly had to win the speakership. So like to even ask him the question now, like, what's the point? You guys already reported this, 3 weeks ago. So asking him now, like, what's that going to solve? So, these reporters, you can see how like under fire these guys are, man. Like, did you see them doing this to the other guy up at the podium? Like, did you see them? Like, they are freaking out, like.
So kiss my ass.
Adam.
This dude's mad, man.
Thank you for your passion. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I actually spent a lot of time watching Tucker last night, watching Hannity last night. I was watching CNN last night just to kind of see different perspectives here. And what is clearer than ever is that both sides are just going to just deliver news that just feeds their base, to just drive their narrative, both sides. We all know how easy it is to edit things. And that's not a political statement. So whatever Tucker shows on his show can be edited. Same thing goes for CNN. So I think January 6th, from an overall standpoint, was a very sad and disgusting day and a stain on America. With that being said, I think the majority of people there were just generally there to protest. The shaman and whatever clowns broke into the Capitol, they should be held to the highest extent of the law, period. And if they're in jail for 2 years, 3 years, 2 months, whatever it is, it's deserved. Period. What I'm finding.
I just want to stop it there because it's kind of what I said from the start. Like I believe that myself, that if these guys actually broke the law, if you did something to where you can actually be prosecuted for it. If this dude went up to a door and the guy was actually let in, or somehow and officers actually let him into the building and then gave him a tour. That's, to me, where I think there is a massive gray line there. Now, the rest of the people that did break in or that violated, laws, look, man, like if you violated a bunch of laws, man, like these Democrats, especially down there, they're gonna go after you, and you will pay for it.
Interesting now is that you can say the January 6th committee, sham, nobody on there, Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, a bunch of Democrats. It's people are losing trust in what the government is, and each media narrative, each side of the narrative is just going to basically say what people want to say. So I believe, and I'm just going to use Tucker's words, Tucker doesn't like Trump behind closed doors, but he loves his base. So he's trying to thread the needle of genuinely appeasing the base, but at the same time distancing himself from Trump. His words. You're seeing what's going on with this whole Dominion lawsuit. Let's not forget that Fox is going to be dealing with some shit with this Dominion lawsuit and Murdoch and everything they said. And essentially they knew that Trump lost the election, but they kept perpetuating the story. Carlson, his words, passionately hates Trump. Okay, in a number of text messages in November 2020, Carlson said that Trump's decision to snub Joe Biden's inauguration was, quote unquote, so destructive. Tucker Carlson added that Trump's post-election behavior was, quote unquote, disgusting, and that he was trying to look away from Trump. In another text in a conversation 2 days before the January 6th attack, Tucker Carlson said, "We are very, very close to being able to ignore Trump on most nights. I truly can't wait." These are Tucker's texts. Last but not least, Tucker added, "I hate him passionately." Okay, I actually didn't know this about Tucker. I actually thought that he genuinely liked Trump. But again, I think Trump, there it is right there. I hate him passionately. These are Tucker Carlson words. Don't believe Saz over here? Look it up yourself. Okay, he can't wait for Trump to be out there. But who he does respect and he does appreciate is Trump's base. So Tucker's trying to thread the needle, distancing himself from Trump, and at the same time appeasing the base. And that's exactly what Fox seems to be doing at this point.
But so Adam, so January 6th, you're saying one of the most disgusting. You're not on the AOC and Kamala and all them saying it was compared to 9/11 and Pearl Harbor. Hold on, because I want to make, because I definitely got to. You don't think it was where thousands and thousands of people died and burned and jumped off of buildings? I hope you're not trying to say, because it was disgusting in your eyes. It was nowhere near that, because that's what they're saying.
So what's your question?
So my question is, I can care less about the Tucker text and all that stuff. I don't care about editing. You just saw, because you could watch all these videos. It wasn't an insurrection of trying to take over whatever. People were just walking around, and hold on.
I'm trying to get to your question. Yeah.
So who died? Like, what was the
Are you asking, do I think January 6th is equal to 9/11? Is that your question?
No, I'm just saying. What you think it was disgusting? Why do you think it was so disgusting? Because people thought that.
Vinny, what's your question?
That people were like, you think was it going too much to go there and just protest, and a couple of assholes got out of line? That's what it was. Are you mad about that?
Okay, so
I don't understand your question.
Hang on.
Yeah.
So let me go through some of the questions.
Yeah.
So do you compare the, January 6th to 9/11 and Pearl Harbor?
Not even close.
Okay, no, he's not there. Just so you know.
Good.
No,
but now let's
thousands of people died in these fucking things. It's not even close.
Let's go to
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
at the same time. Finish your point. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, it wasn't a proud moment in American history. These are people that should not have been in the Capitol. Again, if you want to go and protest and you want to be out there waving flags, God bless you. Do it, America. Do everything. But let's stop pretending that these people were up to no good. Okay? Like, this guy, the shaman, should have not been in the Capitol that day. Why was he in there? None of these guys should have been in there.
Adam. Okay, so the opposite argument to that would be, during the BLM protests, how many people died?
20 to 30. I think more than that.
What have we heard about it?
You're right.
Yeah.
Two things can be true.
No, but
that the
but
January 6th was disgusting and
no,
those
no, but
protests
that's
are
not-
disgusting.
no, it's those
that's,
four-
But that's my point. That's what I'm saying.
I get that, but your point can be your opinion, but it's
Right.
not the truth, because you have to give it to data. Meaning, do you know how I said earlier, the 4-day work week, you have to have a definition of success. Let's define success. Give me a specific definition of which crisis was bigger based on data, not opinion, data. Comparing 3 different crises, if we have, how do we define which crisis is worse than the other? Based on what data?
We have deaths.
Hang on. I'm asking him. I'm not asking you guys. I'm asking
Sorry.
him.
I'm sorry.
So I'll answer any question you ask, but I don't feel like they even need to be compared. They're both shitty situations.
But that's not how life works.
Okay,
though. Listen.
but that's
No.
January 6th can be a disgusting thing, and the protest could also be a disgusting
that's not the question,
thing.
though. That's not the question, though. The question is the following. I'm going to ask a question.
Yeah, I mean, see, look, I think someone that tries to judge things evenly and equally and to take both sides into an account, I think that's where this dude's coming from. Because, like, I feel what he's saying, and I agree with him that both can be bad at the same time. I think what my other guy's going to get into here, Patrick, if you're saying that 30 to however many people died and millions and millions and millions of dollars of damage in the BLM protests, and then you're calling one a stain on America's, I don't know what, just a stain on America, I guess. We'll see what he gets into here.
One more time. It's a very logical question. There's no emotion behind this thing here, okay? when people compare LeBron and Michael and Kobe, okay, statistically, where does the argument win for LeBron? Where does the argument lose for a Kobe? Where does the argument lose for MJ? So I'll give you mine. Yeah. Kobe's field goal percentage was the lowest. It's terrible, okay? Kobe's field goal percentage is not good. To me, he is a good top 5 best player of all time. I don't put him as a number 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but I have him in top 5. That's my opinion based on data. Field goal percentage takes a hit, okay? LeBron James, the greatest human specimen in the history of the league ever. Did he make the NBA product better or worse like Michael made? I don't know. What did he do to the league? The career in the, what do you call it, finals is what? He's 4 and what? What's his record, 4 and 6? Mm-hmm. Some record like that in the finals, right? Okay. But statistically, most points ever, most assists, more rebounds than any of those guys. Field goal percentage over 50%, better three-point shooter. Great, right? Michael Jordan, 6-0. All defensive player of the year. I mean, I can give you a bunch of different things with him. He played 82 games in a season, I think 10 times or 8 times in his career. His last year when he played 82 games. I don't know if LeBron's ever played 82 games in a year. Maybe one, okay? Those are data. I'm asking data again. Question from you again. What specific data makes a crisis worse than the other? Data.
Deaths.
Okay, good. Yeah. I agree. Okay. Yeah. What else? Damage to the city. Property damage. Mm-hmm. Okay. What else can we do? We're coming. I didn't know. So death is one. Property damage. What else?
Death, property damage.
Would you add anything else, or those two?
Maybe
I
arrest.
would add I would call it casualties. So death and injured people, people that were absolutely injured. So I would call it casualties. But yes, I agree with property damage.
I mean, those are
how much it affects democracy.
How much it affects democracy?
That was sounded like a political.
What does that mean, though?
He's trying to get hit.
But hang on. If we go based on data, the BLM riots and what they did supersedes January 6th in death 25-30 to 1.
Yes.
Damage to the city, it's not 20 to 1. It's 1,000,000 to 1.
Yeah.
Because the insurrection wasn't any damage to the local businesses or anything.
Nothing.
The damage in BLM protests, riots in the streets, fires, local businesses getting hit, it's not 1,000 to 1. It's more like, to be honest with you, it could be 1 billion to 1. It could be 10 billion to 1. The damage to the local business owners. This is data. So for one to be more fanatical, to pin one being bigger than the other, that is propaganda, that is manipulative, that is deceptive. That's the part, the two. In regards to Tucker not liking Trump, I'm not surprised that Tucker doesn't like Trump. I'm not surprised that you think it's like saying, does Anderson Cooper love Joe Biden? Are you kidding me?
Hell no.
You think they like Joe Biden? No. You think any of these left people, you think Rachel Maddow goes to sleep saying, oh my God, I can't wait to correct the way that my picture of Joe Biden is in my office when I walk in? No. They don't like Joe Biden. They can't stand me. For every one text of Tucker Carlson saying, I hate Trump, there's thousands of texts on the other side saying, let's get this freaking whatever leader out of here, Biden, because he's making it horrible for us. Let's set that part aside. They have opinions about each other, and Trump's not one that Tucker likes. Fine. All I'm saying here is this was overly promoted by people calling this worse than 9/11 terrorists, all this stuff, to put fear into people and divide America, and they won. They did. Yeah. And they wanted to push this guy out, Trump, to make sure he never could run again. Those are fanatical things to be saying, okay? Fanatical things to be saying.
Look, I said it at the beginning of the show, like, I could not agree with that more. It was, I didn't hit on that one part because I think that's even more true. They want to make it worse than it is, 1,000%. They want to make it sound worse than it was. They want you to be scared. And is that last reason so a certain somebody can't run for office again? That the worse it was and the end result, that if people at home or the news started reporting that, oh my goodness, this is worse than September 11th. Did you know that? This is worse than Pearl Harbor. Did you know that? That the more people that thought that, would never elect Donald Trump for president again. So now they put this big thing that they built up that was 10 times worse than it was, that was so bad it was worse than thousands and thousands and thousands of innocent people dying in a burning building that fell on top of thousands and thousands of people beneath, that are still killing people at home right now. That thing that is worse than September 11th is now Donald Trump's fault. That is manipulation. It's, I think, gross incompetence if you actually try to pass that off on somebody. And I think it's greed, I think it's narcissism, and I think it's sick. And anyone, like our vice president told us that. Our vice president told us that, told you at home, that thousands and thousands of innocent people dying in 2 buildings that fell on top of them that were attacked by foreign terrorists was as bad as the protests at the Capitol. If someone actually believes that, they shouldn't be in office, because that person's insane.
That's all I'm saying here. I'll give you the final thoughts. We'll go to the last topic here.
Everything you said is accurate. No doubt. Here's where I would like to at least draw a line between your argument and my argument. If you're going to compare the riots or everything that happened during COVID, I think it's unfair to compare them to what happened on January 6th, and I'll tell you why. Compare those riots to the LA riots in the 90s. Compare those riots to what happened in Ferguson, Missouri. And January 6th, different situation. Compare that to what we just saw happen in Brazil. Compare that to what we just saw in that coup attempt in Turkey 5-6 years ago with Erdogan. To me, those are the comparisons. Well, you did this, so you did this. That to me is an unfair. This is my opinion.
Okay, and you could have it.
Yeah,
that's fine.
So, to me, that's where I'm comparing it.
And then, and Pat, because I know you want to say something.
What was the worst?
But wait, no. But you can't say that. You can say that, but that just because you said doesn't make it right. Okay, if you're committing crime, robbing store, running out with Louis Vuitton and all these other bags, and nobody's doing shit to you, this guy's going to be in jail for 4 years. That's a life-changing thing for this individual. He's going to be there for 4 years. How many of those guys got away with it? What are they doing to them? It's okay.
You're right on that.
But that's where you know, like for example.
But you must admit,
when laws come out, let's just say we're starting a country, you and I, okay? And we're sitting there saying, hey guys, Tom, can we get a board and let's get a paper and pen? Let's write the crimes on the board here. All right, rape. How many years should rape get? All right, pedophile. How many years should he get? All right, selling drugs. Well, weed. I don't know. Well, how about if you smoke it? That's fine. How about if you distribute it? What's the age? Hey, how about cocaine? Oh, cocaine. How about fentanyl? How about I'm selling Vicodin? Boom. And then how about you kill somebody? How about you have a gun that's illegal underage? How about if a 27-year-old is caught with a 16-year-old girl? How about if you go through these things, what are we going to do? We as leaders have to decide which crime is bigger, okay? Which crime is bigger, okay? Stealing from property, whatever. Dude, you cause billions of dollars of damages to local businesses that are creating jobs for black communities. Black communities, your own communities, BLM, and you're saying this is worse than that? Really? Based on data? No, there's levels to crime. Here, one person. One is one too many. Over there, 25, nearly 30. The damage is not even close. Yeah, there's ways to measure. And it's easy to gaslight. It's easy to confuse. It's easy to say, no, how could you do that? How dare you? You're a racist, this, that. Just because you call somebody racist, bigot, whatever, doesn't make your argument stronger.
I agree.
All it does is gets others to be like, oh, that guy's pretty emotional. Gets the people that want to say, he is. You're right. That's true. No, it's not. Here's data, folks. You effed up, okay? Mm-hmm. So who's the bigger damage to America? So don't sit here, saying these guys are the worst thing ever since 9/11 Pearl Harbor, which is not you. Not saying you said that. A lot of the people who voted in said that.
Yeah.
They have to realize the comparison of those two with data, Adam, catastrophic difference.
And Pat, and one of my points was the FBI, and that's why they were showing the Ray Epps guy, if Adam, the FBI was in there and had ground agents pushing people to go in, because I saw the Ray Epps guy broke down the barrier with these people and made them go. If mind you, the same FBI that fucking lied to us, sorry about my language, about Russia and gave us a 4-year, dude, I lost friends, I lost Russia inclusion. That same lying Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, FBI, all these corrupt pieces of garbage, now they're on the ground telling people inciting a riot, Pat. You're going to jail. How is Ray Epps still walking around, but the goddamn guy that's wearing a ferret on his head that was walking around is going to jail for 4 years? So if the FBI, by the way, FBI has been dropping the ball forever and they're involved doing shit like this, good for them, bro.
Oh, man. Dude, there's just so much there. I think it's a lot of, the narrative going on right now in Washington, D.C. as well is all these weaponization of the federal government and how they're comparing them attacking, different sides of how, pro-abortion, protesters and violence and showing up at Supreme Court justices' houses, nothing happens to them. Well, then an anti-abortion, priest trips over some guy and he gets a federal, raid at his house with guys in body armor and weapons, and then you go to all this stuff with the FBI and the Russia collusion stuff, like he said, all the Twitter censorship, and then you look at all the and once again, like, all that stuff keeps happening one way, like it just does, and people want to say, well, that's not an argument, that's not true. The facts are, though, is that when you look at every event, if you take them separately and you put up punishments during, punishments for conservatives versus punishments for liberal causes, like BLM, it was a liberal cause, even though it was death, destruction, chaos, and robbery, and this and that. Do you think the FBI showed up at any of their houses and, gave them 4 years for anything, really? And, that happened all over our country. And, I mean, it literally put our country in peril for a little bit. I mean, people were worried. I mean, they were worried about their homes, their children, their schools. Families couldn't get to the grocery stores to buy groceries. I mean, in these cities where this stuff was going on. I mean, like, it was pure chaos. And it didn't happen for a couple hours. It happened for weeks, and... to me, like, that's chaos, and that's peril, and that's things just being out of control. And even as bad as things got then, for all those different cities with your community literally burning down around you, that's still, something that bad still doesn't compare to 9/11. Still does not compare to Pearl Harbor. Like, not even close. Alright guys, well, thanks for watching it. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you next time.